Well, this is definitely going to be better than that stinker of a press conference we watched earlier with Jamel Herring and Shakur Stevenson. Anyway, what's going on, Hassan? I've seen you ask, why is this fight happening? It's not being talked about, but Tank Davis is the WBA world champion at 135 pounds. Rolly Romero is the interim champion at 135 pounds. As you know, Teofimo Lopez is the WBA champion at 135 pounds. So if you don't know, the WBA has been forced to get rid of all of their underling belts. So basically, this is a fight that had to happen. It had to, you know, and the winner of this is going to be Teofimo Lopez's mandatory. Isn't that crazy? Nobody's talking about that. Well, anyway, I'm T-Street Controversy with FightView360.com. Let me make sure I open up the press conference here. Normally, the Showtime press conferences start on time. It's going to be starting at 4 p.m. Eastern. It is now 3:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, October the 21st, 2021. Now, let's go look at this Rolly Romero guy. To be honest, I'm going to go ahead and say it. He's not like that good to me. You know, he's getting this fight off of, it's safe to say, you know, that, you know, he talks shit. You know, he's a character. And also, once again, he's got that WBA interim belt. And he's Tank Davis's mandatory. So, Anthony, can you dig it, Yidget? Stopped him in 7. Avery Sparrow stopped him in 7. Jackson Marinez, he got the unanimous decision. What is the fight that he got the gift in? Isn't it the Jackson Marinez fight? But I believe, I'm pretty sure Marinez had turned down the rematch. But isn't this that fight where he got that gift and, you know, he was getting like butchered on social media about it? So here's the rankings, by the way. My beautiful website, FightView360.com. Links down below in the description box. You know, I talked about it before, and frankly, I really don't want to talk about these guys in this video, but they have to be mentioned. Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney, who are not going to be fighting anytime soon, by the way. Teofimo Lopez, WBC franchise, WBA Super, IBF, WBO, and Ring Magazine champion. He is at the top of the hill. Devin Haney, the WBC champion. Jojo Diaz, the WBC interim champion. That is just a messy situation right there. As you can see, Tank Davis, WBA world champion. He's fighting Rolly Romero to unify those titles. And then the winner is going to be ordered to fight Teofimo Lopez. So right now, Teofimo Lopez is fulfilling his IBF mandatory. Don't be surprised if the winner of Lomachenko and Richard Comey, which is supposed to happen in December, don't be surprised if this winner is the WBO mandatory. And while Teofimo, with his franchise status, doesn't have a WBC mandatory. Now, personally, I think that Teofimo Lopez is on his way to 140 pounds. You know, maybe if Top Rank throws enough money at him, if he defeats George Kambosos. When is that fight supposed to be happening? November the 27th. It's official now. We got the press release. Maybe we see Teofimo versus Loma 2. You know, and I think, like, put it this way, I think after Kambosos' fight, he's going to have one more fight at 135 pounds, and then he's done. You know, hell, he might even move up, you know, after the Kambosos fight, win or lose. But, you know, also, you know, Teofimo Lopez can lose the belts on the scales. That'll be some crazy shit, right? I hope that he doesn't, but, you know, with the way things, you know, when the way people have been talking and George Kambosos, people are really concerned about his weight. And just, you know, the fact that it took so long for this fight to get made and in and out of all those training camps, that takes a toll on you. Isaac Cruz is the next IBF mandatory after George Kambosos. Ryan Garcia, well, he's out getting his pussy maintenance. He's injured again. And that, my friends, is 135 pounds. Hopefully, when Devin Haney does return, it is going to be him versus Jojo Diaz. At least we can get rid of that interim belt situation. And then the winner of Haney versus Diaz fights Ryan Garcia. Yeah, there's been some talk and rumors that Tank, you know, may be going up to 147. And I do see Spence moving to 154. But Spence better not go anywhere unless he fights the winner of Crawford versus Porter. And right now, really, unless it's a real significant weight issue, I think that Errol Spence should stay until he becomes undisputed. Or, you know, him and Terrence Crawford fight for both of those belts. Now, according to Jake Donovan from Boxing Scene, hold on, let me do something real quick. According to Jake Donovan from Boxing Scene, PBC was trying to make Errol Spence versus Yordenis Ugas. So Spence is actually back for February the 22nd. So that's some really, really good news. And then the winner of that fights the winner of Crawford versus Porter. And then boom, you got an undisputed champion, you know, at the end of the year. Or we can have an undisputed champion by the end of 2022. Now, it must also be said, hold on, I'm doing some shit in the background. The press conference is going to be starting soon, by the way. I'm guessing they're going to be starting any moment now. I need to go check in and see what's going on there. And apparently, tickets for Tank Davis versus Rolly Romero in LA, it's taking place in the Staples Center, is doing really good. Like, I'm sold now that Tank Davis is a growing star. Now, one thing for sure is this fight is not a pay-per-view fight in a very crowded pay-per-view market. So say, for example, November the 6th, you got Canelo versus Plant. November the 20th, you got Crawford versus Porter. December the 5th, you got this Tank Davis versus Rolando Romero. Then later on that month, we're supposed to have Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. A lot of boxing pay-per-views, man. You know, and then we just got over Fury versus Wilder 3, you know? So it's no secret that Tank Davis is the attraction. And also, there's a lot of people, I don't know if it's hundreds of thousands of people or 100,000 people, but people want to see Rolly Romero get beat up. Something's wrong with my audio? Shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. I don't know what's going on with that, but I'll check it out. You know, and it's time, like, for, you know, them to get a little bit more aggressive with the matchmaking with Tank Davis, because it's like he's fighting good fights, you know, but you can tell the matchmaking is very, 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 like, careful, you know? For example, let's go look at his resume. I like the Mario Barrios fight. 25-0 with 24 KOs, 26 years old. This is his third fight in what, 14 months? It'll be his third fight in 14 months. Leo Santa Cruz last year, but, well, you know, a lot of people predicted that Leo Santa Cruz was going to get knocked out. The Yurkis Gamboa, well, he had 1 foot, 1 shoe. You know? These other fights I really don't care too much about, but this Cuellar fight, that's a very good win for him at the time. The Jose Pedraza win has aged well. That's a very, very, very good win for him. But this Romero fight, it's a grudge match, but also it's not being talked about, as we talked about early in the video, is that it's a mandatory. Like, they're not talking about it. Like, the WBA, you know, Tank Davis had to pick which belts he was going to keep, and he chose to hold on to this one. So right now, he's in a situation where He's got mandatories at 140 and 135 pounds. So Rolly is his mandatory, and then the winner of that is going to have to fight Teofimo Lopez. You know, he's going to have to figure out what he's going to do with his WBA world title. You know, I'm guessing they're not going to, like, I don't think they're going to order him. I don't know what's going to happen with this situation right here. You know, is he going to fight Josh Taylor? I don't think so. You know, it's a shame we're in an era of, like, where boxers do so much talk. I'm not saying Tank, but I'm talking about guys like Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. All these guys you know, like, they should be fighting each other. Like, they should be fighting each other, bro. Like, I'm tired of it. So anyway, the press conference is going to be starting momentarily. I'm guessing, of course, they're going to have an all access for this, which should be good. By the way, Canelo versus Plain All Access episode 1 is this Friday on Showtime at 8 p.m. Eastern. This weekend is going to be Jamel Herring versus Shakur Stevenson. For those who don't know, the undercard is trash. I'm going to go ahead and say it, no disrespect to the fighters, but listen, undercard's trash. You know, Xander Zayas, Evan Holyfield, Nico Ali Walsh. Like, I just want them to calm down with him, because you know, they making me and other fans, they're turning other fans off with, like, so much of the pushing that they're doing. Muhammad Ali's grandson, Muhammad Ali's grandson. I'm not trying to hear that shit, man. You know? But it's interesting because, you know, as you can see, this is Tank Davis's third pay-per-view fight. I'm wondering to myself, like, what, you know, because, you know, they're going to want to keep him pay-per-view. So what's the next fight? Oh, they're about to start. Let me turn it up. So it's like, what's the next, like, you know, pay-per-view that they can realistically do in-house? You see what I'm saying? Like, what can they do? You know, because they've been really doing a good job keeping Tank Davis fights in-house while they're being exciting, intriguing matchups. But now it seems as though, like what in-house fight, unless he moves to 147, can they make? You know, that was the Keith Thurman rumblings, but, you know, Keith Thurman is going on a 3-year layoff, bro. Like, what the fuck? You know, it's not going to be Chris Colbert, I don't think. Like, I'm trying to find, like a in-house fight that they can do. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You think it would be Colbert, but Colbert is going to fight at 130, you know, against Roger Gutierrez for that belt, the super belt, the only belt at 130. So he would win a belt and then move up to 135. Now, remember, that 130 belt is the one that Tank vacated. Isaac Cruz, you think they can do that on pay-per-view? I think he'll go up to 147, to be honest. You know, when I'm really, really thinking about it, I mean, but who at 130, who at 147 would he fight? You know, they'll do on pay-per-view. Tank versus Danny Garcia? Cash out? You think they'll do Tank versus Jose Zito Lopez? You know they got to put him against a Mexican or Hispanic. By the way, this fight, I don't, you know, I'm trying to think, like, I'm trying to figure, like, what is this pay-per-view really going to do numbers-wise? What's your prediction? 250, 250K? 300,000? I don't know, man. 300,000 kind of pushing it to me. 250K sound about right in pay-per-view buys. I know it's Colbert, man. Shut up, Big Stein. Grow up. Coming in here fucking being a teacher. Tank versus Amir Khan? Ew. 200K? I'm thinking 200K, 250. I can't see 300, bro. I can't see it. I can't see 300. Like, if you look at it, Rolly Romero, even with his antics and everything, he's not, like, well known. He don't have like hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers, do he? You know, that's the shit these days. You got to talk about the Instagram followers. Let me see. Rolly Romero. You know, he be on some weird shit on Twitter, but hey, that's life, you know? Like, his name don't, like, ring no bells. People don't be like, oh, motherfucking Rolly. Motherfucking Rolly, you know? Damn, they got his Instagram linked to somebody else. I went to go click it on Google, and it's somebody else's Instagram. What's his Instagram? Oh, sign up for KOs, right? Here we go. You know they be, like, trolling him in the Mayweather gym, like Richardson Hitchens, Colbert. And who else? They be like, basically, like, how the fuck did he get so far? Let me see, where is he at? Sign up for KOs. Yeah, they keep linking his Instagram to somebody else. Oh, no, there you go. There you go. Let's go check out some of his antics before the press conference starts. This is the press conference. Where's it at? Down here. Oh, let's go here. Here we go. Leave it down there. Tank gonna beat this boy.
Y'all want to see a dead body? Congrats on your victory, champ.
Hit that whole head. Knock that whole head off.
Yeah. Oh.
That's what we're doing.
By the way, Tank Davis released a tweet and then took it down that he was going to kill him. That he was going to shoot him, pretty much insinuating. Like, bro, I just hope there's no fisticuffs at this. Actually, I do hope it's fisticuffs. Look at this right here, though. Look at his walk around weight. Like, these boxers be out of control. And he got fucking weird hobbit feet, bro. Ew. You know, but he been trolling, though. He's a good troll. I do admit that. Look, 181. It's not a good look to me, man. These boxers be competing in weight classes and walking around like 40 fucking pounds heavier. That's some crazy shit to me. But yeah, he talked his way into this one. He talked his way into this one. I mean, he said some truths, you know. I'll turn that off. I want to hear what they got to say. Yeah, so if you don't know, let's go look at it real quick. The winner is going to be ordered to fight current WBC franchise, WBA Super, IBF, and WBO Ring Magazine champion Teofimo Lopez. That's, of course, if Teofimo Lopez defeats George Kambosos on November the 27th. Tank Davis and Rolly Romero, his name is actually Rolando Romero, Rolly Romero. They're fighting to unify the WBA World and interim titles. Right now, as we talked about earlier in the video, before the press conference started, there's been a lot of talk in the last year at 135 pounds. Most recently, Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney. Them dudes ain't going to fight at 135 pounds. We talked about it earlier, but here's what I think is going to happen. Tank Davis is probably going to fight, if he defeats Rolly Romero, another in-house type of fight. But who? I wouldn't be surprised if he goes up and competes at 147 pounds. Now, Devin Haney and Jojo Diaz should fight. From my understanding, they're supposed to be fighting. Well, it's not really a final eliminator, but pretty much it is a final eliminator. Because the WBA has been forced to have to get rid of all of those belts. Basically, as you can see, they have 3 champions at 135 pounds. It's not being talked about enough that the WBA ordered Davis and Romero to fight. And if they didn't order it, they probably were told behind the scenes that they have to fight. Well, he's ahead of Loma in the WBA rankings because he's the WBA interim champion. And also, Loma was out of the WBA rankings, I believe, for injury. Well, anyway, Lomachenko, don't be surprised if in December, when Lomachenko returns against Richard Comey, that's the rumor, that he will be the next WBO mandatory. Devin Haney and Jojo Diaz got to fight. I believe that the fight may actually happen since Ryan Garcia is getting surgery or had surgery for a hand injury. So the winner of Devin Haney, Jojo Diaz, is going to have to fight Ryan Garcia. Teofimo Lopez doesn't have a mandatory because he was made franchise champion. Loma was made franchise champion. So therefore, Teofimo got the franchise champion status, which makes no sense to me. Now, Tank Davis is not ever going back down to 130. I don't see it. Because he dropped his 130-pound super title. This was him. He had this one. Remember, him and Leo Santa Cruz fought for it. Chris Colbert is going to be fighting Roger Gutierrez. I believe they came to a deal or close to coming to a deal. I don't remember. And they're going to be the only champion at 130 pounds for the WBA. Tank Davis is also this right here at 140. So right now, Tank Davis has 2 underling WBA belts. Technically, if you really want to be, serious, he's not considered a champion, because of his underling belts. Now, when he was at 130, had that super title, that was a legitimate title. But for fans, don't really recognize these world belts because Josh Taylor is the champion at 140. And regarding to the WBA, and Teofimo is the champion at 135. Now, what I think is going to happen, the WBA is going to have to order Tank Davis to fight this guy right here because they have to get rid of that belt too. Or will the WBA order Josh Taylor and Tank Davis to fight? So I guess what I'm saying is I'm looking at, who can Tank Davis fight in-house that can also, generate money on pay-per-view, because you have to think his next fight, this is his 3rd fight on pay-per-view. Leo Santa Cruz, October of last year. Mario Barrios earlier this year in June. And now Rolly Romero. Now those are all in-house PBC fights. And Mayweather himself at the post-fight press conference was it Mario Barrios or Leo Santa Cruz? Wherein Leonard Ellaby have said they're going to keep Tank in-house. So Teofimo Lopez is a top ring fighter. Josh Taylor is a top ring fighter. So I'm looking at these guys, maybe Tank versus Gary Russell. Gary Russell's been talking about moving to 135 and he needs a fight. Maybe him versus Gary Russell on pay-per-view. I like that fight. That's an intriguing fight. I like that fight. Because if you look at it, you know, I mean, yeah, they can try to go Isak Cruz, but, you know, put him against another Mexican, but, you know, I don't know. Like, they're running out of in-house fights at the weight classes that Tank Davis wants to compete at, 135, 140. So therefore, that leaves 147. Remember, there was talks of him versus Keith Thurman. Maybe him versus Danny Garcia, or, you know, Jose Zito Lopez. Those are some good fights for him at 147 pounds. It's going to be a Sunday night pay-per-view, by the way, and it's likely going to be $79.99. Remember, we got a lot of pay-per-views. Wilder versus Fury, Fury versus Wilder 3 a couple of weeks ago. November the 6th, Canelo versus Plant. November the 20th, Crawford versus Porter. This one, Tank Davis, Rolly Romero, December the 5th. And then you have Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. That's also supposed to happen. I'm guessing, I'm hoping they're going to push that back to January. But they were talking about putting that, you know, in December as well. And then if you watch and buy both sports, meaning UFC, you got those pay-per-views as well. I don't know. Keith Thurman is going on a 3-year layoff, bro. Like, he last fought, what was that, July of 2019? Like, bro, you know? Like, I've lost faith in Keith Thurman. He got married, got that PVC money, and he just don't seem like he got it, you know? I mean, he's had 3 significant, you know, like, high-profile fights with Danny Garcia and Sean Porter, both on free TV. Huge ratings, and then he had the Manny Pacquiao pay-per-view. Dude is eating good. And he probably still driving that Prius. Like, he don't spend no money. But Rolly's doing his part. I just don't think that Rolly can beat Tank Davis. Even though Rolly did, you know, make some sense where, you know, I mean, Tank Davis won the fights, both, you know, by stoppage. But, wait, he stopped Barrios. I'm sorry, my memory's shit. Yeah, he stopped Barrios. But he was losing on the cards to Barrios, and remember they had the open scoring, to Barrios and to Leo Santa Cruz. And he had, you know, and Gamboa had 1 foot, 1 shoe. He really couldn't get him out of there. So Tank does have vulnerabilities, but also Tank has a high ring IQ. Like, to me, Tank Davis is the man. You know, it's also good to see that, you know, he's really focusing on his craft, even though, you know, he's, you know, getting to some dumb shit every now and then. But still, you know, it's good to see that he focuses on his craft. Oh, he might have upgraded to a Tesla. But yeah, I'm going to get up out of here. Tomorrow, we're going to be here for the weigh-in for Shakur Stevenson versus Jamel Herring versus Shakur Stevenson. And then you're going to see me on Saturday covering that fight. The card, I'm going to watch I'm going to watch the Herring versus Stevenson card. But I'm sorry, that undercard is, you know. But I'm interested to see what this undercard is going to be, because it can't get no worse than Canelo versus Plant undercard. Like, that undercard is fucking, So I'm going to try, you know, we should start hearing about some fights or some potential fights that can be on this undercard soon. I'm T-Street Controversy with Fight View 360. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. See you tomorrow.